Thank you very much. My name is Kericho Mass, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and a resident of Kericho County. On behalf of Kericho County Fresh Leadership, all of whom are behind me, this morning we want to issue a third statement to the government of Kenya. This is following a pursuit of what has been happening around Makaburi Cemetery for the last couple of days, with the conclusion of a post-mortem yesterday by a team led by Dr. Njoroge. As a leadership, we must say at the very outset that we have followed the happenings, we followed the reports, we have followed the statements from the team led by the DCI, as well as the government pathologists led by Dr. Njoroge, as I have said. And to say the least, as residents of Kericho County, as citizens of this country, we're extremely dismayed, we are shocked, we are perturbed, and extremely concerned. This is so because of the following reasons. Number one, initially the report was that 14 people had been interred at Makaburini, but later on, after the bodies were disinterred, a disclosure was made that about 33 people had been disinterred. Several of these people had been brought from places which are yet to be disclosed. There was a situation that about 14 people had been brought from our neighboring county, but there has been no explanation as to where the 19 extra people came from. Number two, though there was a situation earlier on that these are people who were being disposed from a hospital because there were no people to claim them. The reports from the government pathologists, the reports coming from the post-mortem suggested that there were about 4 people who had physical injuries. And these were not just physical injuries, these were injuries to their heads. Even worse, some of these people were very fresh to suggest that these are not the kind of people who are being brought for purposes of disposal, for purposes of the public health. These were people who are being brought for purposes of being buried in a clandestine manner. As a nation which has suffered immense cases of extrajudicial killings, as a country that is going through a bad history of enforced disappearances, as a country which has witnessed abduction by state agencies and other people, we're very concerned when there were about 4 people who had head injuries, when there were people whose bodies were very fresh and did not qualify to be buried in mass graves through the vehicle of an affidavit, through the vehicle of a court order for purposes of public health. We want to ask the government of Kenya to do the following within the next 7 days. Number one, as a leadership in Kericho, as citizens of Kericho, we want the government of Kenya through the DCI, through the registrar of births and deaths, to give us a full disclosure on who were these 33 people who were buried in a clandestine manner in Makaburi Cemetery. We want to know where these people came from. We want to know their very specific identities. Number two, we want people who are responsible for purposes of burial. We want people who are responsible for purposes of planning. We want people who gave the decisions to bury allegedly 14 people who turned out to be 33. And these are same people who bear responsibility, the highest responsibility in law, to take responsibility. And if possible, we want to see these people prosecuted because of a cover-up, because of acting to subvert the law. Number three, the President of the Republic of Kenya has given a commitment to all Kenyans that extrajudicial killings, enforced disappearances, abductions would be part of the history of this country. They will not happen again. Because of that reason, and because our president has given us a commitment which is in accordance to the Constitution of Kenya, we invite the president to use his relationship with the judiciary as citizen number one to move the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya to establish a judicial commission of inquiry to immediately look into the issue of Makaburini Cemetery in Kericho. How comes allegedly 14 people were supposed to be buried? It turned out that there were 33 people. Together with this, we want this Judicial Commission of Inquiry to look into the issue of enforced disappearances, to look into the issue of abductions, to look into the issue of several people who have disappeared in this country without trace. This Commission of Inquiry which is appointed by the Chief Justice and the judiciary, should be able to recommend a number of things. One, compensation for victims of enforced disappearances, abductions, cases of extrajudicial killings, and ensure that the families of victims not only just get this compensation, but is supposed to get compensation as soon as possible. And we want this commission of inquiry to also look into the role of security apparatus of this country, together with the administrative structures within the country. We want to know what has been their role, and if there has been any role, we want measures by way of recommendations from this Judicial Commission of Inquiry, or now the security apparatus, the administrative structures of the government, or any other person will be stopped henceforth from perpetrating this. As a fresh leadership in Kericho County, we want to send our condolences to several people who have lost their loved ones in Kericho, in the other 46 counties, and whose loved ones have never been traced, whose loved ones are missing. That is what we request of the government of Kenya. And even as we do that again, we want to ask the government of Kenya, through the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, through Registrar of Persons and Deaths, through other related agencies, to prepare and prepare within the shortest time possible a list of all missing Kenyans as reported in various police stations, as reported in various commissions that deal with human rights, and various hospitals. We want a list of all missing Kenyans that have never been found. And this commission of inquiry that the president is going to move the Chief Justice to establish, because it's the role of the Chief Justice and the judiciary to establish a judicial commission of inquiry to speak to the families of these people who have lost their loved ones without a trace. And once they are investigated, once recommendations are made, these respective families are compensated in accordance to the law. We want to say as a fresh leadership again that what has happened in Kericho is unprecedented in this county. This is completely unheard of. This is completely unacceptable. And we pray that going forward, a similar thing will not happen in Kericho County. It will not happen in other counties. It is not lost on us as a leadership that this country has just had the case of Shakahola, where several people, for reasons unknown to us, were killed and interred in mass graves for reasons that are still unknown to us, and there has been no inquiry, because the last time the president established an inquiry, the court said it's not the role of the president to establish a commission of inquiry. It is now the role of the judiciary. So to stop further killings, to stop further enforced disappearances, abductions, and extrajudicial killings, the president must now use his commitment and his responsibility as citizen number one to approach the judiciary to establish a commission of inquiry that would look into this issue of enforced disappearances, abductions, extrajudicial killings, recommend compensation of victims within a short period of time, put in place measures to ensure that those who bear the highest responsibility face the law, criminal culpability is punished, and recommend measures that would ensure that Kenya again shall never be part of a committee of nations that would continue to perpetrate abductions, that is going to witness extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances. That is our statement this morning, ladies and